And in example 3, we can see that sometimes these inequalities start to get a little bit strange. For example, if I said to you that, let's say, 6 is greater than 4, that statement works. But if I multiply both sides by -1, it doesn't work anymore, because -6 is less than -4. And when I put a negative sign on both sides, it switches the inequality sign around. And there are a few different cases where this works. You could reciprocate both sides, so this is this condition is negating. If I were to reciprocate, which means I switch it over to 1/6, so 1/6 is less than a quarter. That's also switched the inequality sign around. So this is called reciprocating. Oops. Reciprocating. And we can see that one of these two things will happen in this example. So if I were to write 12 is 12 minus 3x is the same as or greater than 6, then by getting rid of this 12 first, I have to minus or subtract 12 from both sides. So minus 3x is the same as or greater than minus 6, because I've removed the 12. So 6 minus 12 is minus 6. And now I divide by -3. And when I divide by -3, it's one of these things. We're negating it. And I could do that in 2 steps. I could get rid of the negative, so 3x. But then when I make that from a minus 3x into a 3x, this thing changes round. So it becomes like that. And then I can divide both sides by 3, which maintains the direction of the inequality. So that's something to be aware of. Another thing that makes these things switch around is by switching the order of the numbers, because if I switch the 4 and 6 around, 4 is less than 6, and that would be a switch, and that also changes the inequality sign. So there are 3 different things here you have to be aware of with inequalities, and they all change the direction of this. Anything else you do, like adding a number, subtracting a number, multiplying or dividing by a positive number, that doesn't change the direction of this thing, but any of these 3 does. So let's have a look at this final example and let you get on with some exercises. So to solve this equation, notice now we have 2 inequality signs, and this could be dealt with by cutting into 2 parts. But if we look at the central thing here, we know that x is in this position. And to get that on its own, we need to get rid of the 3 and the 5. And the first thing we all know is to get rid of the 3 by subtracting 3. But normally we say we subtract 3 from both sides. But now we have 3 different things we have to subtract 3 from. So we have to subtract 3 from each one of these parts. So subtracting 3 from -7 will give you -10. Subtracting 3 from this middle bit is just going to leave us with 5x. And then subtracting 3 from 23 gives you 20. Now we have to divide everything by 5. And dividing this by 5 gives you -2. Dividing this by 5 gives you x. And dividing this by 5 gives you 4. Now this tells you, if I were to draw this on a number line, this goes from -2 to 4. And x could be, well, this part, that says -2 is less than x. So -2 is less than any value that I choose. It could be -1 or 0 or 1 or 2 or 3. And this part means that x is the same as or greater than 4. Sorry, is the same as or less than 4. So that means that x has to lay between -2 and 4. In the same way that we did before, though, we have to remember that this one is a hollow circle because it doesn't include -2. But this is a bold circle because it does include the 4. And it's anything that lays between these two.